Welcome, everyone, to the Blazing Defender Report. I'm your host, Travis Jones, and we're going to be talking about comic books today. All right, you're in the right place if that's what you want to hear about. First of all, I'd like to welcome my Periscope viewers. I try to do this every week. I try to broadcast live on Periscope. This will also be up on the YouTube channel, Blazing Defender Report. And we're in the middle of a name change. People that watch the show know that I used to be called the Nerdgazim Hour. That is changing. I'm going over to another network, and I want to have an original name. The Nerdgazim Hour has been taken, believe it or not. I can't believe it either, but it has. So I wanted something that kind of represented me, being a firefighter, being a comic fan. I liked it. So, and I also want to thank all those that helped me come up with the name, and that's what we're rolling with. So, if you don't like the Blazing Defender, too bad. That's what it is. All right, guys. Again, the name has changed, so social media has changed. Twitter, Blazing Defender. My Gmail address is blazingdefender@gmail.com. The YouTube channel is the Blazing Defender Report. Tumblr, Blazing Defender. You'll find me. There's a picture of a firefighter opening up his fire coat, and it's like a Captain America uniform. So check that out. I've got some stuff coming live from D3 on there as it's coming out. D3 is going on live right now. And speaking of D3, I want to give some shout-outs right now to some Facebook groups that cover a lot of that stuff. First group I want to give a shout-out to is Comic Jacked. Really appreciate you guys' support. These guys, they know the most obscure comic book knowledge I've ever seen. Me being a comic book reader since I was 5 years old, so damn near 40 years. I think I know it all. And then I go to that page and I'm like, Jesus Christ, who's this guy? I gotta Wikipedia it. I gotta Google this shit just to find out who it is. So those guys really on top of their game. They have tournaments, battles all the time. It gets heated, man. I laugh. When you're arguing something so dear to your heart, whether Batman can kick Captain America's ass, that shit's gonna bring up some feelings, man. So I get tickled when I read some of these posts, and you can tell people are really getting heated. I'm not making fun. I think it's great. It just shows that you love the material, and that's what makes groups like this so good, because the fans are so passionate. So hats off and kudos to the guys at Comic Jack. You're awesome. Another group I want to shout out to is the Marvelites on the Facebook group. They are top notch when it comes to posting things that are going on right now, stuff that is happening as we speak. I'm sure they have a ton of stuff about D3 because there was a Civil War trailer that dropped at D3 today, and I'm sure the Marvelites have posted a lot of stuff about it. The last group I want to give a shout out to is From the Helicarrier. I play a game called Marvel's Avengers Alliance. Great game. It's not so much a great game for new players. I hate to say that, but it's not. These guys really helped me stay with the game and improve my experience, enjoy my experience more. And plus, they had me on as a guest host. So what the hell? These guys definitely get a shout out. But I really appreciate those guys giving me a guest hosting spot. That was fun. I've really learned a lot from all of them. And I'll be going over to their network, the Giant Size Comic Book Network. So super, super excited about all that. More to that to come in the next coming weeks. We're getting closer and closer all the time. That's the reason for the name change and some of the social media change and thus and so on. So, again, I was telling the Periscope viewers before, if you're viewing the video, you see I have this strap. My arm is in a sling. I tore my distal biceps tendon Tuesday, and that's usually when the show drops. But I was in the hospital all day getting MRIs and everything else, so I have to have surgery next Tuesday. So, but the show must go on. And that's what I told my wife. So, I'm not really sure of the schedule yet, but we will get it all nailed down, and there will be a show next week. I don't know. I doubt it'll be any worse than any other show I do. So, what the hell, right? But I'm going to have comic books next week, and I want you to make an informed decision when you go to your comic book shop. Now, in that segue, I want to talk about what the show's about for the newer viewers. I buy comic books every week. And if you've never been to a comic book shop or you've always thought about buying comic books but you really don't know what to buy, it's like a guy, if he likes Spider-Man and he walked into a comic book shop and said, hey, show me your Spider-Man comic books, that guy's going to show you like 5 or 6 different titles with team-ups and guest appearances and just all the regular titles that Spider-Man has. It's going to be pretty daunting. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I buy comic books every week, and from what I buy, I give you my opinions on what I think you might like. Now, what I do is I try to hit the high points. I try not to give any spoilers away because I want you to be as surprised and shocked about things as I am when I read them. It's one of the joys of comic books, one of the reasons I love them so much. So, when I'm talking about, let's say, I don't know, smoking cigars, fighting ninjas, hot chicks, tons of violence and sex, and you go, damn, that's 5 stars right there. That's a book I want to check out. Well, there you go. Then you can go to your comic book shop and be like, hey, Blazing Defender said this was awesome. And they're going to go, yeah, well, he's an idiot. Yeah, well, fuck you. I'm buying it anyway. That's how it goes down, okay? I'm sure it goes down somewhere like that. I mean, we're living in a world of infinite possibilities. That could happen, right? Probably not. But anyway. So that's what I do. Give you my reviews. If it sounds like something you might be into, go to your comic book shop, check it out. Walk in, just buy one book, walk back out. Next time, go in, look around for a little bit. It can be daunting, and I think it's funny when you think about it because you think, there's a bunch of nerds in comic book shops. What's so daunting about it? Well, you're right, but no one wants to look like a dumbass the first time they do something or when they go somewhere. So, well, I don't know. Some of my viewers might. I probably would now I think about it. But anyway, moving on. So that is basically the synopsis of the show. So if you're thinking about comic books and you don't know what to buy this week, I'm your guy. All right. Now, with that being said, we're going to get straight to the book reviews. Now, as I fumble around my makeshift studio, first book of, I'm not sure what week we're in. Okay. This is the first book I'm reviewing, so it doesn't make any difference. Future Imperfect. You see that with the Maestro fighting Ulick right there, who's normally an Asgardian villain. Basic synopsis on the Future Imperfect story is okay. I got to do this every show, it seems like, since Battle World started. Our Marvel Universe has collapsed. All the multiverses have collapsed. Everything's gone, but certain segments of the Marvel Universe. And I would say the Marvel Universe, I mean past storylines that have came from Marvel Comics. And what has happened is Dr. Doom, don't ask me how because it's a long story, basically pieced together a world called Battle World where every Marvel story, not every Marvel story, certain Marvel stories have their own domain and a Baron that runs that domain. Now, the All-Father Doom, yes, I said the All-Father Doom because that's what he's known as. He is God in this battle world. Okay, so in saying that, these next few books that I review, they are Battle World books. So understand that this may not be the Hulk that you know, the Thor you know, the Captain America that you are familiar with from the past. These could be alternate dimensions, versions of these characters, okay? And I always try to distinguish whether if that's the case or not. In this, we are talking about the Maestro. The Maestro is a alternate timeline Hulk that is basically as smart as Banner with all the abilities of the Hulk, all the strength and power of the Hulk, but in a very sadistic despot. He is the Baron of a particular segment of Battle World. His nemesis, or the leader of the resistance in his domain, is the Thing. But it's not the Ben Grimm Thing that you know from the Fantastic Four. It's Theodore Thunderbolt Ross, who's normally Red Hulk in our universe. And I know I'm doing a super fantastic job of confusing your ass right now. But it's confusing shit. Stay with me. Okay, this is what I'll tell you about this book. Maestro wants to overthrow Doom. He is basically not really tricked, but have come to an understanding with the Thing and his resistance fighters to help him overthrow Doom. He gets out of their domain, the Thing takes over their domain, but the Maestro is the All-Father. And to do this, he has decided that he needs the Destroyer armor. Now, he goes to a realm called the Nordstrom, not Nordstrom like the store, you dumbass. And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. And I don't have my left hand available to thumb through the book to make sure that's what it is. But anyway, it's basically like a small Asgard. I mean, they've got these taverns. Everybody in there looks Asgardian. And there's a really, really cool scene in the bar where this guy has got his eyes blindfolded. And it looks like there's been some kind of trauma underneath the bandages. And they're looking for the Guardian, okay? And he's like, basically they're like, get the hell out. Well, then the Maestro does what he does. He's a huge dick. So he starts throwing people around, destroying the place, saying, look, I'm not leaving till you tell me where I can find this guy. And this guy in the corner is sitting by himself with his eyes bandaged, says, I know where to find him at. And he basically tells him, well, this guy is Balder the Brave, okay? He goes by a different name now. I think his name's Haldor, I believe is what he says his name is. But it's Balder the Brave. No, I'm sorry, not Balder the Brave. Shit. Heimdall. Heimdall the All-Seeing. Thus, his eyes being covered up. He makes a statement about he's the reason that this has happened. I think he blames himself for not seeing the end of the multiverse coming. I want to thank Stag Junior Bourbon for being a sponsor of the show also while I take a sip. That's a lie. They are not the sponsor. I totally wish they were, but that was a total lie. Okay, back to the story. Now, so he's tossing things around. They find out where the Guardian is. They go to do it. Now, they run into some problems, and it's known that the thing lets it be known, I should say, that he's not on the Maestro's side. He wants him out. And if Doom kills him, which this is what the thing thinks will happen, that's good by him. He gets rid of him one way or another. It's win-win for him. Well, things start to get a little hairy, and I don't want to give nothing away. And the thing is basically like, hey, you're on your own, pal. We're out of here. So one thing leads to another. They end up finding Ulick. Ulick is kind of the guardian of this, of whoever's holding the armor, which we end up finding out on the last page. And I'll be honest right now, this is no spoiler. I have no idea who this guy is. No clue who this guy is. I was like, who the hell is that? So I'm very interested to find out. Future Imperfect has been one of the titles that I've been buying. It's in issue 4 now. I think it's really good. Greg Land I really like his art, and he draws really good action sequences. He draws hot chicks, and he draws a great Hulk. Peter David is known as one of the best Hulk writers of the character, so he understands the Maestro. It is his character. The Maestro is a product of Peter David. So, really good book. Check it out. If I said anything that makes you think that you would like to check it out, I think it's pretty sweet. All right, now, staying in the Battle World theme. All right, we're not. We're going to Star Wars Darth Vader. Now, viewers of the show will know that I love what Marvel has done with Star Wars. Star Wars, Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Lando Calrissian. Yes, you heard me right. There's a Lando Calrissian book, and the first issue was spectacular. I loved it. I heard Billy D. Williams speaking all the dialogue. I mean, they nailed the character. He's just like you think it would be, smooth and suave. But that's another review for another time. That's actually next week. I have this week's books beside me. I will show you what's going to be on review for next week. Hopefully, I have surgery Tuesday, so it won't be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll see how I feel. But I want to get that review out because there's some really good stuff that came out this week. But in this book, I'll be honest, Darth Vader makes a lot of top 5 villain lists. And, yeah, he's cool as shit looking, and he's a Sith. He's a dark side Jedi. What's not to like about that? But I've always felt like Darth Vader didn't have that edge. He didn't have that ruthlessness. Yeah, he force choked a few people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're a badass. I get it. But I wasn't never scared of him. Okay? This book makes Darth Vader cold, calculating, sinister, ruthless. Everything you want your Darth Vader to be, this is it. Karen Gillan did a marvelous job on this Darth Vader storyline. He has a trio. He has 2 psycho droids, which are great. They are so freaking funny. I love them. He has a doctor with him who she's just as nuts as anybody. Dr. Afra. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Afra. And she's sharp. She's smart. And I can't tell if she's a Vader groupie or she's got something up her sleeve. I'm not quite sure yet. But what she is a great thief. And that's how this book starts out, is her and her band of misfits, the droids, and she gets a bunch of bounty hunters to go along with her for a big score. They rob an Imperial ship full of credits. Okay? Now, the whole time she's doing this, she has an alternate plan. I don't want to give nothing away, but this comic is a great heist story. Okay? You know how like heist stories are. It's like they steal a bunch of money. But did they? Was it a diversion for something else? Or really was it about the money? That's kind of what this is about. Okay? So I won't give anything away about the heist, but it's pretty good. There's great dialogue. The artwork's really cool. And then at the end, Palpatine has put another guy in charge, okay? And Vader's on a shit list. Palpatine and everybody else in the Empire blame Vader for the destruction of the Death Star. So Vader's in the doghouse. But even though he's in the doghouse, he's using it to his advantage to kind of do things on the side without a lot of people looking at him because people have kind of wrote him off. All right? Like, well, he's not Palpatine's favorite anymore. So everybody's looking to get in that apprentice line, if you know what I'm saying. You know how the Sith roll. Okay? Well, Vader's got shit going on. All right? Well, at the end, there's a big reveal of something that he's been doing. And I was like, oh, my God. That's what makes me love this book. If you're a Star Wars fan, if you like Darth Vader, dude, it's $3.99. That's a combo meal. Put the cheeseburger down, dog. All right? Go get it. It's in issue 8 right now. Super good book. There's Dr. Afra right there. There's the 2 crazy-ass droids behind him. It's a sadistic C-3PO. I mean, just buy it for that. Buy the book for that alone. Great book. Super book. All right. Now, my next book. If you watched the show last week, Groot and the Silver Surfer had been out in space together. Kind of a long story. I'll make it short. He and Rocket were going to Earth. Something happened. Rocket got kidnapped. Groot was floating out in space and met up with the Surfer. Well, last week we had a Guardians team up with the Surfer and Groot. I gave it a horrible review, mainly because the story was choppy. The artwork was choppy. You know, I don't know. Just not a good book. Save your money on it. Now we're back to Groot's book. Okay? You see him and the Surfer there? That's a really cool cover, by the way, of them riding the board together. How much is this damn thing? $3.99. $4. If you love Groot as much as I do, then this book has been great. From the first issue to the second issue to this issue. I mean, how think about how hard it would be to write a story, and you say, okay, I need you to write a story, but your main character can say 3 freaking words. They got to be the same 3 freaking words every time. And you can put an ellipses in there every now and then. You can pause for dramatic effect, and then put same 3 freaking words, man. You know how hard that would be? Well, they do such a great job of capturing Groot's sincerity, his genuine goodness in this book by how he says things. I know it sounds silly, but I'm telling you, this has been a really good book. Basically what happens is Groot and Surfer and a companion of the Surfers who's kind of suspect to the story, but I understand her point in it. There's like a cosmic storm that forms over top of a world that's populated. Groot and Surfer go in to help, and ends up being the storm was kind of a bait or lure, if you will, for another cosmic being that kind of gives the Surfer some problem. Well, what's great about this is Groot saves the day. It's his book. Come on, man. You know he's going to save the day. But he does it with his brains. And that's something we don't see out of Groot. You know, Groot's kind of like he's cute. You know, there's something wrong with him. And he's as strong as a damn ox. But no, Groot uses his brain, uses his head to save the day. Really, really cool stuff. I love what they're doing in this book. And I'm a Groot fan. But like I said last week, that team-up crap, you can keep it, man. I mean, I've wiped stuff off my butt that was better than that book was. So, Groot number 3, super, super book. Check it out. The artwork's really good. The storytelling is really good. Top notch, top notch. Now, another book that I'm going to review is The Midnighter. Now, you're going to go, The Midnighter? Who the hell is that? Well, I'm going to tell you who he is. And Comic Jack guys, if you're watching, this is the dude that needs to be in one of the tournaments. Because I was thinking about it the other day while I was in my hydrocodone bourbon-induced stupor. The Midnighter is a bad man. I mean, he's almost unbeatable. And he doesn't need any prep time. Because one of his implants is he already runs through all the scenarios of how he's going to kick your ass in milliseconds. He's fought the fight 1 million times. He knows every move you're going to make before you do it. He's almost precog in that sense. And he has accelerated healing factor, accelerated speed, accelerated strength. Come on, dog. All right? And he's gay. Yeah. So you're going to get beaten by a gay dude. All right? Not that means anything. I buy the book, so I don't care. I don't care if he's gay or not. He's badass. All right? Now, what's so cool about this book is some people may think it jumps around, it's choppy, and I can see someone else reading this and going, "What the hell's going on?" If you slow down, you read it, you go panel by panel. It's very much the Midnighter's life on how someone as messed up as he is lives their day to day. Midnighter is all about fighting and fucking and partying. All right? I mean, that's what he likes to do. And he actually ends a relationship in this book with another superhero. If you're fans of The Authority, and everybody should be, if you're watching this and you've never heard of The Authority or you've never read The Authority, you've got to read it, especially the first few runs with Mark Millar and Brian Hitch. Oh, my God. Nerdgazim pick of the week every week would be The Authority. It was so good. It's like a screwed up Justice League. And I know you're like, oh, they've done that 1,000 times. Sinister Supreme or Squadron Sinister, I'm sorry. Earth 2, the Crime Syndicate, they've done it. No. Ain't nobody did it like The Authority was. Nobody did it like Millar did it and Hitch. So, just my 2 cents, but I loved it. That's where I became a Midnighter fan at. And this book is, there's a lot of undertones in this book, but the main story is Midnighter has really never got a true origin story. Well, this is kind of piecing together an origin story, which makes me so excited each week I see this book on the shelves. The Midnighter was created in a place called the God Garden. Okay? We don't really know much about it other than it produces weapons. It sounds a lot like a Weapon X program or like where Phantom X was created. That garden, you know what I'm saying, that he was in, where it was just like kind of created weapons and super soldiers. It's a lot like that, I think. We still don't know a whole lot about it. Well, someone has broken into there, which is supposed to be impossible, and stolen a bunch of these weapons. And not only had they stolen the weapons, but they stole a hard drive that had Midnighter's true story behind it. Midnighter doesn't even know. He's very Wolverine-like, okay? And I love that whole, before they gave Wolverine an origin, I loved that. I love no one really knew where the hell he came from, what was true, what was implanted. A lot of the same storylines and undertones in the Midnighter book. So I love this book. There's plenty of action, plenty of violence, a lot of humor. Some of it's gay humor, which I think if you're straight or gay, I think it would be pretty funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm being insensitive. I don't know. Imagine that, me being insensitive. But I love the book. I give it a big 3 stars, and it's $2.99. So for $3, okay, 3 White Castles, you can go get this book and really, really enjoy yourself. But that's the Midnighter, kicking some ass in black leather like only Midnighter can do. Love this book. It's really, really good. All right. Now, another book that I've been a huge fan of is Injustice. God's Among Us. It's year 4. We're in the 4th year, and I believe this is issue 7. Okay. This is what I'll say about this book. Great. It's a great book. It's still a great book. It is an alternate timeline than our own DC universe. Okay. It's kind of like, it's based after the game, the Injustice game, where Superman's bad guy. He wasn't. Some things happened. He said, I'm never going to let these things happen again. And he basically rules the earth, the world, I should say, with the Iron Fist. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Cyborg, all these guys are with him. Some of them struggle with Superman's choices because he's killed people, okay? So they struggle with the choices that Superman's made, but they still believe in the greater good. And then, of course, you got our man, Batman, that's like, no, that shit ain't flying. You got to go down. So, and he's got his little band of resistance too. What they've done is Batman has made a deal with Ares and the Greek gods. They don't like Superman thinking that he's a god and that he's above everybody. So Batman has kind of manipulated the situation and getting them involved. Well, it's kind of gotten out of control. There's bodies drop all the time in this. Main characters drop all the time in this. So if you want something that's a little bit out of canon, and when I say canon, I mean like typical DC stories, this has been some of the best DC stuff. As you can see, I don't buy a lot of DC stuff because a lot of it sucks. But I like it. I mean, I love DC characters. I want them written well, and they just haven't been for me. So Injustice has been very, very, very good. Now, I'm going to give you the Nerdgazim pick of the week. I'm keeping that, by the way, the Nerdgazim pick of the week. That is my pick for fans that, comic book fans that they don't know what book to get. And if I give you the Nerdgazim pick of the week, that's a book I feel like any fan can go get, read it, and really enjoy it. Okay? So that being said, normally I read a book and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. And then I'm like, man, I can't give that to Nerdgazim pick of the week. Somebody that hasn't been reading the story is going to read it and they're going to go, what the hell is that? Okay. All right. Now, this was from the books last week that I bought. I got one hand, so bear with me for a minute. Okay. Now, normally, this would be my pick. A Civil War. This is a Battle World book. You see the Cap shield down there. That bridge right there is called the Divide. If you're reading the story, you know what the Divide is. It actually means something. That was the variant cover I just showed you. It's a little bit more expensive. This is a very, very good book. I cannot give it to Nerdgazim pick of the week because if you went and bought this book, you love Captain Iron Man, great. They're not in it a whole lot. The other players are in it a lot more. And if you didn't know the story, it'd be kind of hard. Now we'll review this book next week. A book that I should have reviewed for this week that I am getting ready to review right now. I meant that I should have put that in my stack is this book. Guardians Team Up. Remember how I told you the Guardians Team Up last week was crap? Well, guess what? This Guardians Team Up is crap. Star-Lord and Spider-Man. Now, there's another character that comes in play that I don't want to tell you about. If you go get the book, which I don't know why you would go get this. For one thing, the character's really not even that popular, but I'm sure she's a favorite of somebody. I just said she, so that narrows it down a little bit. Star-Lord's gun gets stolen. His element gun, which his father gave him. He's freaking out about it, and he has a video that shows Spider-Man did it, but Spider-Man didn't do it, so Spidey helps him. The jokes aren't funny. With Peter Quill and Peter Parker, man, that should be some side busting stuff. I should at least laughed out loud one time. Every time they said a joke, I try not to remind myself of how much I paid for this. Okay? It's not good. It's not good at all. And I love Peter Quill. Everybody watches the show know how much I love Peter Quill. Do not buy this. Okay? Anti-Nerdgazim pick of the week is this crap right here. All right? Okay. Back to it. Okay. Now, these are the books that are going to be reviewed for next week. That was a Civil War book. Here is Secret Wars number 5. It's a cool-ass cyber beat cover with Dr. Doom. Okay? I will review this book next week. I have not read this yet. Star-Lord Kitty Pryde. And as you can see, Kitty Pryde has claws. She's obviously not our Kitty Pryde from the 616 universe. And she's obviously not the one that Peter Quill, which is from the 616 universe, has fallen in love with. So, all that aside, I'm very excited about this book because the first book, the issue 1, was my Nerdgazim pick of the week. Very, very, very good stuff. Okay. Lando, number 2. Telling you, man, I'm very excited to read this too. Lando number 1 was incredible. I believe it was a Nerdgazim pick of the week it came out. Again, if you're a Star Wars fan, these are really good books. Review will be next week on that as well. Okay. I buy The Walking Dead. Huge, huge fan of The Walking Dead. I love that cover. Michonne's sword with the blood on it. Really good. Okay. Now, my Nerdgazim pick of the week is the Inhumans. And you see Black Bolt there. All right. Battle World book. Now, I'm gonna tell you why this is my pick. Without giving anything away, the reason I'm giving the Nerdgazim pick early is because I'm almost a week behind. These books came out Wednesday. I typically have a show before the new books come out, so you know what to get the week before. So the reason I'm giving it this pick is because even though you're not going to know some of the things that are going on, the action, the dialogue, the characters in this book, you're going to recognize them. Matt Murdock is not the Daredevil in this, but he's a bad boy in this. Black Bolt is not the Black Bolt that we know from the Marvel Universe. He talks a lot. He's a leader of a resistance. This is a very good book. If you're familiar with the Inhumans at all, you're really going to like the characters. If you don't know anything about the Inhumans, this is a good book because of the characters. And it's like a good movie. It's kind of like Wheaton did in the first Avengers. A lot of characters, but everybody gets really, really good screen time. And you know, this guy only gets a couple panels. He only gets a couple word balloons. Ooh, who is that dude? You know what I mean? So, and I think it's very hard to do that in a comic book. So, I really like this book a lot. And I've liked it since its beginning in issue 1. It does tie into the Battle World stuff. If you know what's going on in Secret Wars and in Battle World, you're going to have a better understanding of what's going on in the book. But you're going to enjoy this book anyway. So $3.99 Nerdgazim pick for this week. I will review it next week to let you know. And a book that I'm very, very excited about is Batman. Now, one of the few DC titles that I continue to buy each week because it's solid every week. Every week, if I gave a Nerdgazim title pick, that's going to be one of them. It's just so good. Everything you love about Batman, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, they nail it, man. These two guys are going to go down as one of the most iconic artist, writer tandems on Batman of all time. And maybe not just Batman, maybe of any comic book hero ever. That's how good this stuff is. And let me tell you this, Batman's not really in it. Did that blow your mind? Did it? Did brain chunks just fly out and hit your cell phone or hit your computer screen? Yeah, he's really not in it that much. Actually, we're getting Bruce Wayne, who's really not Wayne in this, but that's a whole backstory too. Very good book. Man, if you can go back and get the run, I don't even know where the hell you'd start, man. It's on issue 43. The first run is going to be very expensive to get, but it's available on trade paperback. Trade paperbacks are all condensed versions of story runs. Go get them, get caught up, man. Then just go to your store and keep up with it. But Batman is a great title. Even if you're not a Batman fan, it's smart. It's got violence. Really good stuff. Now, that is all for the comic reviews this week. There has been some D3 news. The Civil War trailer dropped today. It looks like the Panther and Bucky and Cap have a fight scene in it. It looks like Panther is coming after Bucky for killing his father. That's not a spoiler. I mean, that's kind of what happened. But Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is also in the trailer, which I didn't know if really that was confirmed or not, that he was going to be Red Hulk. That's really crazy to me that they're going to introduce Red Hulk. I love the Red Hulk. I think he's a great character, and I'm super stoked to see him. But I worry about all the people that they have to make time for in this movie. Now, the Russo brothers destroyed it with Cap 2. I mean, when I say destroyed it, I mean they nailed it. They hit it out of the park hard. So I'm very excited to see what they do with all these characters. Very excited to see that. And there's a lot more stuff coming out of D3. There's some Doctor Strange news coming out. I'm very excited about. Go to the Facebook site Blazing Defender. I've posted some links to some stuff. And I guess the last thing we're going to talk about today is the Marvel Avengers Alliance. And the reason I bring this up is if you play, there's a PvP tournament going on right now. I think it's season 23. And I usually do pretty well in PvP. And then for whatever reason, my offensive team wasn't working anymore. So I switched to one of the defensive teams, which is Quicklord, which is Star-Lord and Quicksilver. Age of Ultron alts dropped yesterday, I believe. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver got Age of Ultron alts with new passives. I'm using Quicksilver and Star-Lord, with like the Arachnid set and the Mandible on my Scrapper Agent. No cube. And if you know what I'm talking about, the Cosmic Cube has been a mainstay since I bought it, and I took it out. And I did some statistics. I played 10 matches, and I only lost one, and I lost that one because I messed up. So I was shocked, and I was going up against some Null Kurth teams, which if you know what I'm talking about, you know those teams can be tough. Went up against a couple of Quicklord teams that didn't have the alt, but the journalists, and so shot some Pestilence Beast teams, and I was destroying them. So if you're having trouble on offense, take a Quicklord team and try Quicksilver's new passive. I got the Blaster passive, which is really nice with all the Bruiser costumes that you see on defense. So a little tip there. If that helps you out, I hope it does. I know it's tough for me sometimes, and a lot of people don't want to help you. I guess they feel like they give their secret away that it won't work for them anymore, but that's bullshit. Now, another thing I want to talk about game-wise is Destiny. I know I got into Destiny late, but I'm a huge fan of it. I play it all the time. As soon as I end this broadcast, I'm going to go play because I still have the weekly Nightfall to do. And like I said, I'm having surgery Tuesday, so I won't be able to play when it resets. So I want to get it done before Tuesday. The Taken King is coming out September 15th. And I bought it yesterday. I just said, frick it, I'm buying it. got on Xbox Live and reserved the digital copy. It comes with the weapons pack, the Surrealist weapons pack. I know there's been some debate whether it came with the weapons pack or not. It does. It even tells you as you download it that it's downloading for you. So there's that. I'm super stoked for that. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got some stuff coming up, and which really sucks about my surgery is I was really wanting to get started on this week, but I'm going to have some guests come in. Me and two other guys are going to basically have a roundtable discussion about the Marvel movies. We're going to start at Iron Man and come all the way to Ant-Man. It might be a lengthy podcast. Sure, there's going to be some drinks involved. There's going to be a lot of profanity, I'm sure. And it may end in a fist fight, literally, because it almost got that way last time. Like I said, man, when you get passionate about something, you can't talk no shit about it or people will get upset. But no, really, we're good friends. We were sitting around one day after Ant-Man, and we had this great conversation about the Marvel movies, about DC TV shows and everything else. And I thought, man, this was some really good stuff. We need to sit down and do this in a podcasting forum and you know, just let it roll, you know, see what happens. So that's coming up. I've got some local artists that want to do the show. I'm super psyched about getting an interview with some of these guys. I've never interviewed anybody before. So it's just, if you don't want to view for the interview, watch it just to see me screw up an interview, because that probably have some entertainment value in it somewhat. So a lot of stuff coming up, guys. Like I said, going to the Giant Size Network. I cannot wait to be affiliated with from the Helicarrier guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the production value of the show will hopefully get better. Who knows? I don't know if it will or not. But I've got some cover art coming. I have a great idea for the music. Just waiting for my brother-in-law to get back in town so he can help me nail that down. It shouldn't take long at all. But a lot of things coming up, man. And please, if you have any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, any smart-ass remarks, hit me up on the Facebook page, Blazing Defender Report. Hit me up on my Gmail account. It's blazingdefender@gmail.com. I have a Tumblr account, Blazing Defender, Twitter account, Blazing Defender. Are you seeing a theme here? Blazing Defender. If that didn't come up, Blazing Defender Report, like Colbert, the Colbert Report, the Blazing Defender Report. But try that out. Should be a good time. A lot of big things coming, man, and it's just going to get better and better. I promise I won't be on bourbon and narcotics most of the time. But if you like me being on bourbon and narcotics, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Okay, guys, for that, I'll see you next week, hopefully on Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, and the Blazing Defender Report is out.